My next beautiful model is my sister girlfriend Nicole. We've been friends, sisters since high school. So we're just getting ready to do a little something something. We'll check in with you from time to time. But I already have a beautiful canvas. So I know this look is gonna look perfect. So stay tuned. So right now what we're doing is shaping the brow. I'm doing hair-like strokes towards the front. Nicole already has beautiful brows. Hers are not as thin as mine are. I had to get mine tatted. We're just filling in with hair-like strokes, but we are going to make the tail darker. I like a defined tail, so my clients tend to get a defined tail too. So we're shaping it, and then we're going to come back and clean it up with concealer.
Couple months with no glasses.
So now what we're doing is adding eyeshadow base. Eyeshadow base allows you to have a smooth canvas and keeps your eyeshadow in place and keeps it from creasing. And we're shaping the eyebrow. I put the eyeshadow base on the back of my hands to warm it up, therefore it goes on smoothly. I'm just going to spread that out. And then you always want to make sure that you pat out your eyeshadow base, and you want to make sure that it's dry before you put your eyeshadow on it so that it doesn't come out patchy. So we're smoothing that on. This base that I'm using is eyeshadow base H from Plain and Makeup by Yolanda. Go to the website planandmakeupbyyolanda.com and use my code Wanda at checkout, and you can save you some money. Nicole is like myself. We have creases in our eyebrows. So I'm just going in and lifting it up and making sure that I get into the creases so that when I do her eyeshadow, it covers. And what we're doing is just shaping the brow. Now we're about to go on top and define the top. You're just defining the top. There we have a perfect brow. We're just going to smooth this out over her forehead and blend it in so that when we do foundation, it's not patchy. This base is close to Nicole's skin tone so that when we do foundation, it'll blend in perfectly. You want to smooth out the edges of the base, even though you won't see it at the end. You don't want it to show up underneath the foundation. Nicole, you like that brown? I'm going to lighten it up in the front a little bit in a minute.
Yeah. It looks a little, I like
I
this
haven't
one
done this.
better.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
Yeah, so I like that. Actually like the one you ain't done. The
Got it.
thin
Oh,
one.
I can.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
like
can
the
make.
thin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, remember I said this eyebrow was a little bit. So we can actually shape that more like that with the base. That's why I was asking before we get too far. Smooth that out. And you always, if you're someone that does clients makeup, you want to check in with your clients before you go too far to make sure that you're giving them what they want as opposed to what you like. Nicole likes her brows a little bit thinner, so we're going in. She likes the natural shape. Her other eyebrow is thinner, but the shape is more of what she likes, so we're going in and shaping that. This one like that.
I'm trying to get my neck ready.
Look at that. Is that more of what you like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shade is putting the thumbs up. But he just gave me thumbs up. Looks good.
Get my little cervical
Mm-hmm.
neck straight.
So for Nicole, we're using the Earthly Desires palette by Planet Makeup by Yolando. And this is how the palette looks. Sorry to be all up in your Facebook.
That's okay.
That's how the palette looks. We're about to go in with Freedom as the transition color. Now, what I do is close eyes. I start off light, and we can always blend or add more. I go in with a light touch because it's easier if your client decides they're not feeling it to clean up a little bit than a lot. And so look at that, Nicole, and see if that's more the color you want it. Okay.
Pause it for a minute.
So we're going in with Freedom, and like Nicole and myself, If you have creases in your eyelids, you sort of want to take your brush and lift up to get into the crease. See right there where I could miss coloring the eye if I didn't lift up. The eyeshadow base will catch it, but when you have mature skin like us, but we go damn good, you always want to make sure you get into the creases. And what I do is I tap and pull down. That starts off my blending process. Tap and pull down. Blending is everything when it comes to makeup, from your eyeshadow to your concealer to your foundation. Everything is about the blend. And as you can see, I'm tapping and pulling down, and that starts off my blending process. Now this shadow here, Freedom, gives off sort of like an eggplant look. Look at that, Nicole, and keep in mind you gotta trust. Yeah, look up, open up so I can get that corner. I'm not, because you creep right there. That's what I wanted. This doesn't really matter because we're gonna cut the crease. But I wanted to get right there. I knew that was gonna be like that. And see how it's really blended out towards the end. So I tap and pull down. I'm gonna do the other side, and then we're gonna come in and blend it out with a more neutral color over the top, and that's gonna lighten that color. We may darken it back up at the bottom, but we want to make sure it's blended out well. And also, when holding the brush, you want to hold it towards the end because it gives you more control over the pressure that you put on. If you hold it towards the top, you'll hold it tight, and your eyeshadow will come out looking harsh. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let y'all see me start the blending of the eyeshadow on top, and then I'm going to cut the video until we get to the next stage, which will be the cut crease. But this is what we call our transitional color. Open your eyes so I can see any folds. Yep, there we go. You can either respond to what you've heard so far, but if you have a question for Justin, feel free. Open.
I'm interested from Justin, as you were, about corroboration, because obviously his client is going to be.
This right here is a brush cleaner. I use this a lot of times when I don't want to use a lot of brushes because I like the fluffiness. This density of this brush gives me enough density where it pulls the eyeshadow, but it's also loose enough that it works. It's very blendable. So I want to use the same brush, so I'm using a brush cleaner to clean off that pigmentation. And now I'm going to go in with Peace. I'm going to go in with Peace, this color right here, to blend it out. This color, Nikki.
I was just wondering why he was screaming.
And as you can see, that lightens up the purple, but we can always go back in and reintroduce that purple if we want to. We might decide to leave it that color, but remember, you start off with less because you can always add more, but it's really hard to clean up a mistake when you go in too heavy-handed. And you see how that's blended out? You always want to take a lighter shade to go over your transition color for that perfect blend. You don't want to be able to tell where one shadow ends and the next one begins. Everything is blending.
Rupert Murdoch, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, and
Okay,
it
Nikki,
seems
you
to
want to look at that?
include a lot of allegations that were relevant to what
That's
Rudy
pretty.
Giuliani was doing in Ukraine, because there's a discussion of presidential candidates in Ukraine and a number of the lawyers who
And
are
again, I
involved in
tap
Ukraine
and pull
activities,
down.
who were helping Giuliani. So that is something that people are going to, I think, be very interested in. One of the things that I was noting was, there was a search done with respect to Rudy Giuliani's electronics. I think there'll be an interesting comparison of what it is that Ms. Dunphy has versus what was found in the search, to see whether there was any destruction. Because as you pointed out, Lawrence, there could be
And you
just
see how
levels
you
of
really
false
can't
statement
tell.
of
That's a
destruction
seamless
about this
transition.
case here, depending again on what is found out. But there's obviously a lot of really
Tap and
intriguing
pull
evidence
down.
in this very detailed complaint.
Andrew, if you're a federal prosecutor reading this passage, the first time you see it, it says a footnote.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is reintroduce freedom along the bottom, still keeping that perfect blend, but I want that dark for when I do my cut crease, because I want it to be really pronounced at the crease line. And it's not going to mess with the fact that we've just blended it out. And if you notice now, I'm going in a circular motion to keep that blend going. I'm still holding the brush towards the end. But do you see how we just reintroduced that color right there at the crease?
And it can be illegal is something that people are going to be interested in. The precise wording is
Pause
going to
that
be
for a second.
very
Let me
important.
see what's going
So now we're going to cut the crease. I was just explaining to Nicole that a lot of times you'll see artists clean up this down here, and I would if I was using lighter pastel colors, but because we're using this palette, which is a conservative palette except for the shimmers and things of that nature, it can be still dark. I'm going to use a lighter base. This is the H base on my hand from Playing and Makeup by Yolando, which is lighter, and the colors will still pop. I put it on the back of my hand to warm it up so that it spreads smoothly. And you always want to take, when you do a cut crease, this is the natural fold of Nicole's eye right here. If I was to only reintroduce color in that little bit of space, when she opens her eyes, you wouldn't see the other color. So when you do a cut crease, you want to make sure that you go over top of the natural crease of the eye. That is the whole point, to give you more more eyelid space to reintroduce color, and so that it can be seen when the eyes are open. And to cut a crease, the easiest way I found is to tap it on. Take your time. Anything in makeup, you want to take your time. If you're in a hurry, if you're rushed, don't do it. Rushed makeup looks rushed. And you never want to go out looking like a clown, because that's what you're going to look like. If you are in a hurry, just put on eyeliner and mascara and call it a day, and some lashes. Thank you, baby. And as you can see, I'm just tapping it on how I want it, in the shape that I want it, and I'm taking my time. And you can pretty much determine your by your client or your eyelid shape how to form it. You really want to try to stay as true to the natural shape of the eyelid as possible. Sometimes we make corrections with our bases and shadow. It's an illusion. But for the most part, you want to stay as close to the natural shape as possible so that even though you're wearing makeup, it's natural, even when you're doing colorful looks. And I always say sometimes the best brush is a finger. So I want Nicole's eyeshadow to have a little slant. I'm using my finger to smooth out the end of that base. And then what I'm going to do is come back in and smoke it out. Got a little bit of base up top, so I'm taking a clean brush and getting that off. And when you make little mistakes, I like to do my videos. I'm going to go back to doing my makeup videos. I like to do them real time because a lot of makeup artists will have you think that they never make mistakes. We make mistakes. A lot in makeup is figuring out how to fix a faux pas without losing your mind. So I'm very authentic in my videos. I'll tell you when I made a mistake and what I'm doing to correct it. Didn't make a mistake here, but I'm just telling you. That's why I don't like when artists come on with their brows already made up and things of that nature. I do everything on camera because if it's a bad brow day, you're going to see it's a bad brow day. This is what I had to do. I had to work on these suckers. Every day is not perfect, even for a makeup artist. Sometimes you get started and you have to wipe that sucker off and start all over again. And it's okay, it's just makeup. Makeup should not stress you out. Makeup is my point of peace and tranquility. It's where I go to when the world is getting on my nerves. So I don't let the makeup get on my nerves. And again, I'm touching down in the shape that I want it to go in and pulling. You want to spread it out. Make sure you lift it up and get into the creases so that when we put the eyeshadow on, it won't be cracked. Just rounding it off. I'm creating this slant like I have on the other side. And now I'm just making sure the edges are perfect. Did y'all stop breathing too? When you cut a crease, you stop breathing. It's part of the rules. The first few times that I did a cut crease on myself, didn't nobody know but me, the Lord, and the mirror. But it takes practice. Now I do it without even thinking about it. Now I'm going to take my finger. Sometimes the best brush is the finger and smooth out that edge. And we're going to smoke out the edge. But we're smoothing out that, and then we're going to take a brush. This is the Plan and Makeup by Yolanda T300 brush. T300. And we're smoothing out that base. Patting it dry. You want to make sure your base is dry, smoothed out before you introduce your next eyeshadow colors. Otherwise, it's going to look patchy. So this is serving a dual purpose. This is my Mother's Day gift to Nicole. She is such a good friend and sister, guys. And all she wanted from me for Mother's Day is for me to share my gift. And that's the least I can do. And she's already a beautiful canvas. So it makes my quote unquote job so easy. So now we're just getting down in that corner so that when we introduce shadow, and you want to be careful so that you don't get the eyeshadow base where you like over top where you don't want it. Okay. You can open up for a little bit. What I'm gonna do.
Let me resituate on this.
Okay. So now what I'm doing is taking a little handheld fan that I use for my makeup, my menopausal moments, and whatever. I got this from Amazon. If y'all ever hit that like button on my makeup page and we get to 1,000, it'll be part of my giveaway for hitting 1,000 subscribers on my makeup page, God's Brat and Her Paint. And I just saw some area that I want to I'm a perfectionist. Where did my brush go? I put it up here. Oh, here it is. It's sideways. I just see one little area. Let me stand up before I make a mess. It just wasn't as perfectly rounded, and I saw it when I went to use the fan as I wanted it. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my ish. So now we're going to go back through the patting motion. I'm going to reintroduce the fan to dry. This fan has 3 speeds. That's speed number 2. And that's speed number 3. For under $20 on Amazon. I think I got it for like $13. Okay, so we're going to take that same brush. And this brush here is the Y211 brush. This is one of my favorite brushes. I have like probably 3 of these sets. This is from the Y10 blending brush set. Again, if you go to planandmakeupbyolanda.com and use my code Wanda at checkout, you can save you some money. And what we're going to do is smoke out the end. Nicole has decided that she wants shimmer, and that's also in this palette. I'm coming over with my smoke, but we're going to shimmer it out. Look at that, Nicole. Just smoked it out at the end.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
Check out my page. I also did my niece Nicole's daughter for Mother's Day. This is her second Mother's Day, right? But that was my gift to her as well. So make sure you check out my page and look at her makeover. Very pretty. And of course, I'm taking this over because I want the ends blended out so that when I introduce that color, and again, look at how I'm holding the brush towards the end so that I have more control. Okay. Now again, I'm going to take that brush cleaner and get the pigmentation out of that brush. I'm loving you can do a whole makeup look with this brush, Butter Raw. Taking the pigmentation out, so as I introduce the shimmers, and Nicole, if you don't mind, I want this towards the end. I'm thinking, put this towards the top, like this color here, around here. Then I want to do this one, but I also want this in your tear duct.
Okay.
And it's going to blend seamlessly. It seems like a lot, but it's going to come together. You trust me? Nicole, like, hurry and finish. Damn it, it's late. And what we're using now is called Establish. And this is the game plan. Establish, close to the smoke out. Then Love. And then Blessing in the tear duct.
The tear duct not gonna make me cry.
Now, if you notice in my own videos and some of my clients, I don't do the under eye. And it's not because I don't know it's supposed to be done, but some of us tear up really badly and it causes the makeup to run. And it's not worth messing up your entire look just to have a done under eye. Look at that.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Now we're going to go on the other side and do the same. And again, we're in Established right now. And remember, everything is blending. You don't want to be able to tell where one shadow ends and the next one begins. So you see how I'm lightly bringing that over to the edge where, what's that? Freedom is. I'm bringing that over, just blending it. Not going all the way over because we don't want shimmer in the smoke out too much, but we do want it blended. Taking that about midway. And I'm not even going to clean the brush off because we're doing shimmers. Now we're going into Love, the lighter purple in this palette. See the difference? It sort of gives off a pinkish hue. And I'm dotting it over top of where I did the last one. Again, you don't want to be able to tell where one ends and the other begins. Look at that, Nikki.
Yeah, I like the pink. It's pink.
And I'm getting ready to lift the folds to make sure that it's not creased. I'm lifting. What I'm doing is lifting because we have creased eyelids to make sure that when whichever way she looks, you're going to see eyeshadow. If I didn't do this part right here, if she looked a certain way, you would see an empty space with no shadow. Now, because Blessing is a light color, almost a champagne, I am cleaning the brush off again because I want her in a corner to pop. And I'm lifting up. Lifting. Look at it. Keep in mind we're going to clean that up, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
Lifting. We are going to clean up under the eyes, so don't worry about this down here. And the iridescence, you see where that seamless one color is blending into the other. Okay, Nick, take a look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty. Matches my outfit.
It does.
I dressed for the makeup.
Mm-hmm. This is a Plan and Makeup by Yolanda towelette. And as you can see, the size is humongous. And you can cut them in half if you want to conserve them. I give the quality on the same line as a Neutrogena wipe. You know, there's Neutrogena wipes and then there are all others. This is a very good quality wipe. Plan and Makeup by Yolanda.com. Use my code WANDA at checkout to save some money. I'm trying not to be as rough with Nicole as I am with myself. That's pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As the light hits it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Looks good.
Okay, so we're going to pause for a moment. So even though we're off camera, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Turn to, oh, can I? I can't. Okay. I'm going to move the camera closer. Close your eye for a second there. I did the wing offline. A wing is buildable. It's not, I don't want y'all to think that doing a wing is just one swoop. It's not. So I'm going to do the other one for the most part online. And then I also cleaned up under here. I want you to see the other one in process because a lot of people think that when you wing out an eye, it's shoot shoot and it's over. No, it's a buildable thing if you want the perfect wing. Turn to the side again, Nikki. Okay. So you start off with your line in the corner. And you bring that across. Just a basic liner from the beginning. And you bring that across. And now I'm going to build that up. Again, it's buildable. I don't want y'all to think that a wing is just a swoop, swoop. Ta-da! It's not. And you take your time. So you see we start off with a basic line. Now, if you look, most of us have a natural line in the corner. And again, remember I said that you want to follow as much of your natural facial features as possible. So your makeup, even though your made up, looks natural. Nicole's line goes this way. So we are going to do a line, straight line, and bring that into where we built the line going across. So you see the wing forming. Then I'm going to start about halfway up and come in a downward motion to connect with where I built the line straight across. And then you just want to make sure the two sides match up. Now, if you can see, this side is thicker, so I'm going to come over here and make that thicker. Remember, I said it's buildable. So I'm going to make the two sides match. Get straight right here. Oh, I'm sorry. And just building it up. You want to make sure your line is straight. Take your time. You got a blink? Now I'm just going to straighten up. I'm sorry. Get your neck comfortable and I'll work around you.
Okay.
This is another process that you hold your breath on. You don't mean to do it, but you do it. Now I'm going to extend this wing on the outer tip. See how long? Okay. I want to see how long I had the other side. Nicole also has moles on her eyelid like myself. Doing makeup on her is like doing makeup on myself. So you just want to take your time and make sure that the liner looks straight because that's a mole right there. So I'm just being very careful and just trying to go over top of the mole. And then this corner right here, I want this straighter. And that mole right there. Exactly, the forward moles. Nicole and I joke but not joke because both of our, I'm just giving y'all some information. But both of our last name is Ford. and we both originate from Georgia, our families. So even though we met in high school in Maryland, we say we're cousins. Because somewhere along the line, it touches. We're sure of it. I'm getting ready to use the fan to dry the liner. And then we're going to clean it up with some concealer. Look at me for a second. Yeah, that's what I needed you to open up so I can get this corner. Try not to blink. It's hard when somebody's in your face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody that never uses eyeliner.
Yeah, I know, right? This will be Nicole's first time trying lashes tonight, guys.
Yes. In all these years.
Mm-hmm. Close your eyes, please. Now we're going to take our concealer brush again and clean up. Just want that line really precise and crisp. And just like with doing the cut crease, I'm tapping and slowly inching my way across. And then drag it down. I know your neck hurting. Give me 1 second. And this is eyeshadow base that I'm using to define the line, the wing. So as you can see, a wing is not built in a swoop. Be back. Okay, so eyes are done. Now we're going in with the Faded Pores Silk Primer by Planet Makeup by Yolanda. This gives your foundation a very skin-like finish. And I put mine on with a brush. Some people use a finger. Some use a combination of a brush and a finger. It's really up to you. Turn around to the side. It really goes into the pores and fades them. The name speaks for itself. Faded Pore Silk Primer. You really have a flawless skin-like finish when you finish after you put your foundation on. This holds your foundation in place and makes it last longer. Turn to the side, baby. And this jar I've been using for well over a year. So it lasts a long time, and as you can see, I still have plenty left. So although on the website it's about, I want to say off the top of the dome, about $42. It's money well spent because I do my makeup quite frequently, and I still have this much left from a jar. This is the one thing in makeup that you swipe on your face. Everything else you pat on, but this you do want to swipe because you do want it to get in your pores. And I'm just using what's on the brush already. I'm going under the neck a little bit, the chin. And you always want your makeup to go up to your hairline. So you don't, turn around baby, you don't have that circle around your face when you take your pictures. And when you bronze, you want your bronzer to be around your hairline. So again, you don't have that white cast around your edges looking casket ready. You laughing at? And this is the one thing that you do, like I said, want to swipe on because you want it to get into your pores. So Nicole actually is going to use the NARS Soft Matte Foundation. And this is in Bellum Medium Deep. And I actually use this, but it matches her complexion very well. I did a tester before. I am a person, I always say you start with a little. I'm going to do drops. I feel like a little goes a long way. One, because you can always add on, but it's harder to take off if you go overboard. And two, for mature skin, even though I have a very beautiful canvas, but we're older, but we look good.
Mm-hmm.
But makeup can settle into the fine lines and wrinkles if you use too much. So as you can see, I'm being very soft with it and adding little dots that I will connect. So this is the Plan and Makeup by Yolanda Flawless brush that I'm using now. I like it because of the density. It has a slanted tip. And you can turn it this way to get close to the brows without messing it up. You can turn it this way to get to the side of the nose. This is one of my favorite. The Flawless and the Sleek brushes are must-have staples. And again, I tap. You don't want to drag your foundation because that will cause lines and creases. And see what I mean about a little goes a long way? Open your eyes up, babe. And see how I just turned the brush to get into her nose? You want to get into like the side of it, you know. And I turned it and used that edge. But you see how that actually went, I'm turning in angles. You like that coverage?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very natural looking on you. And then by the time we contour and bronze, and now I'm turning the other way so I can get close to this liner without messing it up. I always put the lashes on as like one of the very last things because I don't like the foundation or concealer to get into the lashes. So if you're wondering why she doesn't have lashes on yet, that's why. Now I'm just going to pat this into her skin, and I may end up adding more. But remember I said you can always see how I just turned the brush to get close to her lip without swiping her lip. You can always add more. But as I pick up product from where I added the dots, it may even out where I don't have to. But this way, I don't like when your makeup looks heavy and caked onto your skin, like you can take your fingernail and scrape it off. Like that's a look I don't like, especially on us older women. So less is more. And see how I'm going into the hairline. Now I'm going to get a little bit more. Just a couple dots. How does your face feel, Nikki? Does it feel heavy?
It doesn't feel heavy.
And that's one of my goals. I don't like you to look caked on. Even if I add the powder, she will not look or feel heavy. Now I'm turning the brush again to get close. Turn again. Like I said, this brush is definitely a staple for your collection. Turn it again so I can get close to the brow without touching the brow. And notice how I'm tapping it in. Now I'm turning it so I can get right in between without messing up her eyebrows. Mum your lips so I can go above your lip. And on the side of the nose, tip of the nose. I'm getting this corner here. Mum. You want to go just under your neck and around the ear, just so it looks natural and not having that circle around your face. Turn again. No, not you, the brush. And so look at that coverage. That's NARS Soft Matte. Now, Nikki, how do you like your under eye? Do you like a light under eye, a medium under eye?
For eyeliner?
No, for your concealer. You lighten up, or do you just want me to do my
Just go
thing?
with what you know, because I don't ever use concealer.
Okay, I got you.
So I would be not.